What's up, everybody, and welcome to another video. And in today's video, it is finally time to talk about cases. I finally have the final prototype for all 5 of the cases. So it's finally here, it's finally happening, and it's very exciting. So I'm going to take you through each one real quick, kind of talk a little bit about it, maybe show a little bit of B-roll. This is not going to be the official video on these things, but it is happening, it's here, we might as well talk about it. So this is the first one, this is the smallest one. You open it up just like that. One thing you'll notice about these 2 cases right here is that they are going to be the cheapest ones that you can buy. I believe this one is going to be under $60, which is very exciting because you can store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Balisongs in there for less than $60. That's pretty good. And yeah, this thing is very exciting. So a few changes since last time. I made the oil hole bigger, so oil will actually fit in here. Either a KPL sized bottle or like the bottles that I use, just the regular Super Lube bottle, like that will all fit in there. You have this open area that works great for storing literally whatever you want. Normally I'll put like a little cloth in here and a couple other things, just stuff to take care of my Balisongs. Then you have this display section where you can display your knives, and something I've done is I've deepened all of these holes just for these 2 cases specifically. The display section has been deepened across all the cases, and the reason for that is that it just helps to hold the knife a little more securely than it was the first time. But all of these holes have been deepened because the problem is that these cases, while they're very cheap and very nice, they're also very flimsy in terms of the actual plastic itself. It's pretty flexible. And so what would happen is if these holes weren't as deep, they would kind of be lifted out. Got so many mosquitoes around, oh my god. The knives would be lifted out and the case would flex because of the pressure from the knives pushing up on the top of the case. So we fixed that problem, and now it's extremely nice, honestly. Like these things work fantastically and they shut perfectly, even totally full of knives. Something else you'll notice is that it's orange on the bottom of each one of the cutouts, and there is a good reason for that. That orange is there so that, obviously, I mean, it looks cool, so I can't complain about that, but the orange is actually there so that, say you're at Blade Show and you're showing off your Balisongs, it just makes it slightly easier for you to see where you've got a Balisong missing. I mean, obviously, if you're like me and all of your Balisongs are already orange, well, it's not going to help you too much, but it just makes it slightly easier to instantly see that there's a Balisong missing from that specific spot and that might need to be fixed. So if you're like, you know, handing out your knives, I know that showing off your collection is a big part of the Balisong community, so I wanted to make sure that we had a feature that was kind of related to that in terms of helping you inventory manage your own case. Okay. So that's the smallest one. That should be under $60-ish. This one should hopefully be under like $75. And this is the bigger version of the cheaper case. So this thing can hold a bunch of knives. It can hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 Balisongs. And it's got 3 display areas, which is the most out of any case except for the really, really big boy here. So you've got 3 separate display areas for your Balisong, so you can display all you want and make some pretty stuff happen. And then you have these, you know, sections. And the funny thing is I actually, you know, I asked all of the people in my Discord, I said, if I'm building these cases, would you prefer me to, you know, go 100% balls to the wall in terms of, like, space? Right? Do you want to be able to fit as many Balisongs as possible in as small of a space, or do you care about stuff like having a display area? Because I know that people in the Balisong community, we're really proud of our collections and what we have, and so actually most people said, I want a display area. Even though it takes up the area of about 2 knife slots, it's worth it to people to have that many less knife slots because you can show off some of the stuff you're most proud of. And I think that's really cool about the Balisong community and like the stuff that we enjoy. When we're really proud of something, we want to show it off. And I think that's what makes these little display sections so nice. So on this case, you've got 15 areas for Balisongs. It's got the same depth thing and the same orange. Once again, you've got the oil hole, and then there's a hole up here that's the same size as the display area, but it's really just for putting like oil or like smaller screwdriver bits or whatever you need to there. And then you have an even nicer, larger area for just general storage. So you can actually store quite a lot of stuff in here. And this is the size of case that Brandon uses, and he has really enjoyed this larger sort of storage area. He puts a lot of stuff in between here and there. I think he's found it very, very useful. So yeah, this one is super exciting. However, with both of these cases, something that you'll notice is that because they're on the cheaper side, first of all, the plastic is pretty thin, so it kind of flexes a bit. And it's great for carrying your Balisongs, but it's not necessarily great for protecting them, right? And so you have problems like this where like when you open it, instead of it stopping right around here, it just falls all the way back. Like this is just loose on the back, you know, there's no stopper. And so while it works really well as a carrying case for this many Balisongs, it's not really a protective case for this many Balisongs, if that makes sense, right? It'll protect them from drops and impacts and stuff like that, but it won't protect them from stuff like moisture or humidity in your environment, which right now where I am, it's very humid out. And so having something like a Pelican Air or any one of these next cases that actually seals the inside out from moisture and stuff is going to be kind of a big deal. So these are carrying cases, but they're not necessarily protective cases in the same way. Like I wouldn't fly these on an airplane. I wouldn't put these in my checked baggage, if that makes sense. But for carrying them around at a convention and stuff, this is probably going to be your best option. All right, so now moving on, we have this one, which is going to be the first entry into the like protective case category. And so this has slightly less than before. This has 7 compared to the 8 in this one. But you have a lot better features in this case. So first of all, the plastic is super hardcore. It's nice and thick. It doesn't flex at all. And then you have these spaces that are not nearly as deep. So the knives aren't as recessed. And because of that, they kind of stand out a little more proudly. And I think that they look prettier this way. Personally, I like the kind of like a little bit of proud to the surface look that you get here. I think it looks very nice, and it works perfectly well because the top of this thing is so secure that when it presses down, you don't need to worry about the knives, you know, flexing the lid up or anything like that. They just kind of push down a little bit into the foam below them, and it works out great. Same thing once again with the display section, works out perfectly. So 7 Balisongs in this case total. Once again, storage area and oil hole. It works out fantastically. So this one is super nice. Once again, way more rugged. This is the kind of thing that you could actually carry on, or not carry on, you would not want to carry it on, but this is something that you could check onto a plane. So if you're flying across the country and you wanted to bring either your entire collection if you had a small collection, or if you're like me, you have a large collection but you don't want to bring that everywhere, and so instead what you'll do is you'll get something like this and bring a small selection from your collection, your collection selection, and you can bring that instead. And so that works out fantastically with this kind of case. And as I said, it completely seals from the elements. It's 100% waterproof, airtight, all that jazz. And yeah. Also, all of these cases will be fantastic for putting stickers on, just by the way. That's kind of like half of the idea of them, is that you can personalize them with stickers and stuff. So the next one up is an SKB case. So if you don't know about cases, Pelican is a big brand, but also so is SKB. SKB is very well known for making really, really nice cases, and this is one of those cases. It's definitely on the lower end of their cases, but it's actually very nice. It has an automatic valve for pressure sort of retention. It has completely waterproof design, and it has these really nice latches that are super easy to open that have a little spring on them. So they're like, it's like got spring latches. So inside of this case, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spots for Balisongs. So you can carry up to 10 Balisongs in this case. Once again, they sit a little bit proud inside of this case, which I personally, once again, like, because as I said, the lid on this thing is much more secure than the previous two, and so it can kind of push down even when it's fully loaded. You might have to push it down, but it can push down, and then the locks latch nice and securely. And then once again, you've got the same thing with your display area, so you can have 9 here and then 1 in the display, oil bottle, and then this nice big open area. And once again, yeah, for storage, this works out fantastically. And just in general, this kind of design I've found is very, very pleasing and works really, really well for, you know, storing your Balisongs in a secure way. And so that is the SKB version of the case. And once again, this one's fully waterproof, and that's kind of the difference. You know, you're going to have a relatively large price jump in terms of the cheaper cases versus the stuff like this. These are going to be in the $100 to $150 range, whereas the previous cases are in the sub $100 range. But the big difference there is how much you're actually protecting your Balisongs. You know, these two cases are things that you can actually check onto a plane and not have to worry about it, whereas the previous two cases are really just for carrying them. The other thing to note, obviously, is that with these cases, when you open them up, they have a stopping point, so you can see the lid actually stops when you open it, whereas the other two cases, the lid just fell back completely. So, you know, that's one of the big differences. Okay, now we get to Big Bertha. Oh, hello, Big Bertha. So, this is a big boy case. I think I can stand up to show you all this one. So this is the newest version of what is essentially my personal case. So this entire thing was kind of started when I created my first Pelican 1535, which is a Balisong case that can fit almost 40 Balisongs, so a lot. And then it also has a ton of storage capacity besides the Balisongs. So if I crack this guy open, you'll notice beautiful stuff. So first of all, this thing is on skate wheels, so you can roll it around, so you don't have to be hefting around this massive collection, because believe me, this gets heavy. But on the top layer, as you can see, you have a bunch of Balisongs on either side. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 per side. So there's 26 overall, then 27, 28, 29, 30. So the entire top of this thing carries 30 Balisongs just on its face, which is quite a few. Now, something to note is that this case also costs right around $400, which is a lot of money for something that is just plastic and foam. However, when you consider owning potentially 30 or more Balisongs, you start to realize that you have so much money sitting here that you really should be taking the care to invest in something that will actually protect it properly. And so if you have a larger Balisong collection, personally for me, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer in terms of like having this much space and this much care taken to really make sure that all of your knives are laid out perfectly and taken care of properly. Okay, so not only do you have space for everything, but you'll notice even big stuff like the BB Barfly Pro V2 here, it stretches the container for it a little bit, but it still fits in a regular size knife, and it still fits in there nice and perfectly. So even if you have to kind of like force something in here, kind of like my Tay Flipper, which is also a nice big fat one, it still fits in just fine, even if it's kind of large. So that's one thing to note that's great about this. Also, on top of that, you have this little pocket right here, which is just a nice deep open pocket that can fit all sorts of stuff. Currently, I have a cleaning tool, some oil for my bearing Balisongs, and oil for my bushing Balisongs, all just sitting kind of ready for me to use. Also, my little Weehaus, Torx stubby screwdriver fits right in here, but I don't have it on me at the moment. And then what's cool is that you can see you've got handles on either side that allow this thing to lift open like that and reveal the bottom. Now, the way I normally use this thing is I'll just lift out this top part and put it to either side to let me access what's underneath. Very rarely will I actually be like fully removing this thing and setting it to the side, but that's what I'm going to do right now. So just letting you know that while it seems kind of inconvenient, it's actually not that bad. You just kind of pull it out and like set it on the side of the case, and then you can access whatever you need to and then put this back. I'm going to put it over here for now. Nice. All right, so inside the case, there's even more stuff going on, which is kind of neat. So, first thing you'll notice that you have 4 more Balisong holes, like on either side. And so you've got 4 here and 4 here. totaling to an 8 extra balisongs. So when I said this thing could hold almost 40 balisongs, I really meant it. You've got 38 balisong, specific holes just right there. Then on the inside, you have this very large inner cavity that can be used for pretty much whatever you want. It's nice and deep, it's very large, and so a lot of things can fit in this central cavity. Then, on the top part, you have the more specific cavities that have been made for stuff that I think is important. And so right here, obviously, I've got 2 different sized holes. One of them is deeper than the other one. The first hole is just a 3-inch by, I think it's like 1.5 to 2 inches. And I'm using it to hold stickers. I like to give stickers out when I go to like conventions. So if you see me at Blade Show, I probably, let you have a sticker. And that's what I'm doing there, is I'm just putting them in there, letting people have those things. This is just a good spot for like general storage. This one right here is supposed to be Band-Aid storage. So it's the right depth to have, if you put a bunch of Band-Aids in there, it's just about the right size to fit them perfectly. And then it's just the right depth so that you can just kind of reach in and grab whatever Band-Aids you need. And you're not like reaching super deep and trying to get out a single Band-Aid when you just need one. Like, it just makes it way easier to grab exactly what you're looking for right there. Then there's these guys. So this pocket and this pocket are the same depth. And so you can see I've got a bally boot in there along with some tape. This one over here, I have my Teflon tape in. And it just happens to be like the perfect size to fit a nice roll of Teflon tape. And then over here, I've got some of these patches, which I talked about in a previous video. And you can actually see this patch that I've been wearing for like 2 days now has kind of gotten old. So I could literally just replace that right now. So if I just pull that right off, no more patch, grab another patch, and bloop, just place that like that. Beautiful. And so this is where I keep, you can see these are the RAL Miracle patches. This little spot over here is just a general storage, so you could either store these down here if you wanted, or you could take them all out and store them in the Band-Aid area, or I just kind of threw the entire box right here. But this spot also works great for all sorts of general storage that you want. And then I have the little like opened patch things in this hole for when I need them. Similar to how the Band-Aids work, but I use the patches more than I use the Band-Aids, and so the Band-Aids are kind of over here on their own, whereas the patches, which I know I'll need more often, are right here, front and center. Okay. Finally, there's this longer hole up at the top, which I actually elongated from the previous design, specifically so that it would fit basically all of the sizes of Weehaw screwdriver that you might need. So you can see there's still about an inch extra, even with a T10 going in there. And so this is, the idea of this one is that you can fit like a whole set of different Weehaw screwdrivers into here, like full-sized ones. And that's the idea of this longer hole, is you can really put in your maintenance kit and, like really get something usable out of that. So yeah, that's the tour of this guy. Ugh. I think I'm gonna flip my Serif now. That feels like the play at the moment. So yeah, that's pretty much it for these cases. We have 5 different models covering, in my opinion, 5 very unique use cases that are all kind of important to the Balisong community. I put a lot of thought and work into the design of each one of these things to make sure it's as good as possible for the people that are potentially going to need it. And yeah, that was kind of my dream in all of this, was to make something that the Balisong community could really use. And that's something that could be extremely useful in the future for the community. So yeah, that is the 5 different Will Hirsch cases. Those are all coming extremely soon. Like, I am currently working with MyCaseBuilder. They might even be out when this video releases. They might not, but they're coming very soon if they're not. And if they are, there will be a link in the description that you can click on. I believe you can just go to cases.willhirsch.gay, and that will bring you to the website where these are being sold. Once again, that is cases.willhirsch.gay, and that'll get you to the Balisong cases. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. This has been so exciting. Like, all of this stuff has been coming for such a long time now, and it's finally here, and we're finally at the point where I can show you the final prototypes, and it's happening. It's real. I don't know. I'm losing my mind a bit, and I'm so freaking excited about it. But like, it's here. It's happening. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Huge thank you to the patrons. This isn't a main channel video, but I'm going to thank the patrons anyways, because I love them. But yeah, oh my god, this has been so exciting. I'm overwhelmed with excitement for these to be real and for you guys to be able to buy them. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this one. I'm going to go flip my serif a bit. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.